and welcome to our sixth episode of the Zevoli Round Corner, where we bring you all things ESD. My name is Leboka Mashiko, and today I'm joined by our newly appointed Project Delivery Manager, Ms. Fumutsu Mazunya. Can you believe it?
In
2
my
weeks
second
in.
week.
How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Still shocked that I made it this far. 2 weeks in and already I'm sitting at the round corner. What a
Yes.
privilege.
Yeah, no worries. You have to jump in head first when you're working. Today we're talking about a very important topic, which is the evidence of empowerment. But first, tell me about yourself, your career. Why are you in ESD?
So I did not want to be in ESD. It
Mhm.
was not something that I thought I would ever find myself in.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to be an accountant at some point in my life,
Thank God you
but
didn't. Because-
but I guess God decided my direction was in ESD.
Mm,
I've been in this ecosystem for the past 18 years now, both in private and public. And I've been mostly running incubation centers. So to find myself in this space is actually quite a journey, and it's a very interesting one. I actually enjoy being in this space.
yes, no, it's true. And we're happy to have you. I think having someone that's as experienced as you is really an honor to have in this company. So
Thank
we're
you.
looking forward to having you many more years. All right. So today we're talking about really the evidence of transformation end to end. So talking the talk, walking the walk, um, especially as ESD practitioners, we have to show that we believe in the businesses that we work with.
Mm.
What are your thoughts around demonstrating commitment to transformation, especially the work that we do?
So, like you say, it's about talking the talk and walking the walk.
Mm,
It's not enough to just run a program and saying we're calling all entrepreneurs to come and join this program
mm,
to start their businesses and develop them. We're going to train them, we're going to mentor them, and give them the necessary skills that they need to run the businesses without actually giving them the opportunities, because that's the most important part.
yeah.
They want to access the market, they want to have that experience of quoting and then being accepted, being awarded a project, running the project, and
Yes.
actually seeing the project to deliver it to the point where they get paid. So they want that experience. So knowing that Zevoli actually goes as far as using the some of the entrepreneurs, it's actually a great story to tell, because you're not just teaching them, you're also giving them that experience. And I think that's where corporates also need to be in, where they give the opportunities.
Yes. Um, yeah, I always say SMEs also need to invoice. I mean, they need
Yes.
to eat. It's nice that they attended training. It's nice that they signed or register, whatever. But after that, they need to invoice because they need to eat, right?
It's their bread and butter.
Yes. And I think our programs or our work or ourselves as a company are a prime example of what we're talking about. We use 93% of transformed suppliers in our value chain, um, 90% of EMEs, and 70% Black women.
Wow.
Yes,
I
I
think
mean, we're like
that's a great
distinctions.
example.
Why is this important? Why do you think we should care about believing in them?
So just like a parent, you're not gonna raise your child and leave them, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna raise your child and see them to their sustainability. You want to see them running. You want to see the impact of the work that you've put in. And I think that's why it's important, because we're not just building the entrepreneurs, we're
Yes.
not just mentoring them. We want to see their story. We want to see that life story, because that also affects other people as well. Because if somebody that we are using as a service provider can go out and tell other people the story of how they were developed at Zevoli,
Mm,
then it says a lot about the ESD space,
mm,
and it also says a lot about Zevoli as a company.
that's true. Um, so we're churning out, I think, big numbers, and not just ourselves. I think ESG practitioners, even public sector, all those development companies. I think there are big numbers in terms of SMEs that are being developed.
Mm.
And then here, there's this huge gap between being developed but being a supplier is in the problem.
Yes.
What are we doing wrong? We are developing them, thousands of them on a yearly basis.
Yes.
But then when you look at supply chains and value chains, they are not as transformed as the number of SMEs that we're developing.
I think one of the biggest problems is the disconnect in the ecosystem. We've got a lot of companies that are doing ESD programs on their own. We've got a lot of incubators. There's a lot of us in the space.
Yeah.
But are we coming together? Are we bringing our programs together? Are we actually measuring the impact? Are we doing it for the numbers, or are we actually doing it to actually see these businesses being used? So we need to find ways of bringing the ecosystem together, and also find ways of motivating the corporates to give the opportunities. But also, we don't want to build entrepreneurs who are hopping from one program to another. I think this is where we need to play at each other's strengths, whereas program developers, as program owners, we come together and say, because Zevoli is good at this and this other company is good at that,
Yeah.
how can we leverage from each other so that this one entrepreneur can get the best of both worlds, but not hop from one program to another and still continue that cycle without actually growing?
Because it's not possible to solve all of their problems
Yes,
all of the time with all of their needs. It's not possible. It can't happen
exactly.
in one program. So, you are right that we must use each other in terms of developing SMMEs.
Yeah.
I do think that the ESD space um, is kind, and then I also think sometimes it's not so kind. Specifically to each other, I think to the SMME we try when we can. A lot of us really do our best, but I do think in terms of trying to work with each other is always, you know,
Holding back.
yes. What if you do it better than me? No, 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 no. I don't want to. What do you think is that? Like, why do we do that? I mean, you see a lot of other companies or in a lot of other industries able to work together, and then we can't do it as well.
Well, we can't be jack of all trades and masters of none. We want to master something. And I think it's been difficult because everybody has been trying to build their own thing. We are entrepreneurs at our base as well. So because of that, we look at each other as competitors
Yeah.
instead of collaborative partners. And that's why I say it's about finding each other's strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, as an individual, I know I've got strengths and I've got weaknesses.
Yes.
And in order to be able to carry out my work on a day-to-day basis, I need to rely on the strengths of those people that are around me. So as an ecosystem, let's find each other's strengths and weaknesses and see, okay, if you are stronger in this area, let's leverage that service from you specifically, instead of saying, I'm going to try and do everything on my own, because that's where we end up failing.
All right, our viewers at home, please drop your comments, questions in our comment section, and then we'll try our best to answer them at the end. So I think one of the pain points that companies that we've worked with, specifically in mining and those kind of construction businesses, that yes, you're developing the SMMEs in business savviness, but there's a technical competence issue. So when they're on site, there are issues on executing. We're not sure if they understand their contract. There are risk elements that they're not closing on, and there are compliance issues. And then we said, okay, let's attempt to solve it. And then we launched Future Forge. What do you think is the importance of balancing this out? Having this general, generic business strength and the technical competence when running a business.
So, coming from a technical incubator space, what I've noticed is that a lot of the times it's easy to find mentors, business mentors, who are going to help you in developing your business.
Yes.
But the technical mentors become it becomes a problem. But funny enough, being a technical mentor is not necessarily about the mentorship part, but it's about sharing your skills, your technical skills. And as much as we can go and get these technical skills from institutions, right? There are certain things that you are not going to know. A
Mm.
plumber will tell you that when they go on site, there are new things that they are experiencing that they never learned when they were at school, but now they have to innovate in how they deliver the service. And because of that, after 20 years of being in the industry,
Mm.
they have found a way of perfecting the skill.
Mm.
Now, I think Future Forge comes in with saying that there are skills that you're not going to get from the classroom.
Mm.
There are skills that you are only going to get when you are doing it technically.
Yes.
And this is why we need more technical mentors. And by technical mentors, we're not saying people who are qualified as mentors.
Mm.
We're talking about people who have had 25 years of experience in the field,
Mm.
who can share that knowledge
Mm.
with a business that's starting up.
Yes.
And that's where we need a lot of help. We need those mentors to come on board. So if you are a plumber, an electrician, an engineer, and you've been in your industry for more than 15 years, you can actually share that experience with a startup company, with somebody who has just finished their qualification and now want to enter into the industry. And we are looking for those guys to be on our mentorship program, to
Mm.
become one of our mentors. So you can actually contact us, and we will see how we fit you in so that you can come on board. Not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to have mentorship experience in order to
Mm.
do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Future Forge is really our attempt at bringing corporates and SMMEs closer
Mm.
together. I mean, that's our business. It's our daily business to say having a diverse value chain
Yeah.
is something that you can live with every day, not cope and be nervous about it. You can really carry on as per normal. So we are trying to do the business development aspect and then also the technical competence so that you have a well-rounded entrepreneur.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so latching on that, I think there is a general sense that as soon as you are a level one business or like business, you must always be developed, you know. Um, Here's the opportunity, here's your experience, skills, or whatever. We'd like to develop you before we give you the opportunity. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't know if it's true all the time. What do you think we can do better to bridge this gap, to give corporates that comfort, to make them see that it's not all the time that you did development and I can't be in a 2 year program, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can put people on programs all the time,
Hmm.
but it's not in being put in a program where I'm actually gonna get to a point where I would be good enough. Um, Sometimes in order to perfect a skill, you need to constantly do it.
Hmm.
You know, um, and in order to see if the development that we've been doing is good enough,
Yeah.
you actually need to give the opportunities. And I think that is where we need to focus our efforts. Instead of just putting them on a program, let's actually give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't fail by attending a course.
Hmm.
You actually fail when you are trying to practice what you've learned.
Hmm.
You know, head knowledge is good, but the practical of
Yes.
it, that's where we need more entrepreneurs to get involved. We want our entrepreneurs to actually be in. Show me that you can do it. How am I
Yes.
going to show you that I can do it if you're not giving me the opportunity? If I don't have that platform, if I'm actually not there, I need to be fully showing you on a
Hmm.
day-to-day basis that everything that I've learned, I can actually do it.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, I Yeah, I'm all about giving SMEs the opportunity. That's why we have like
Yeah.
93% of black businesses now supply chain. I'm sure you've also had your fair share of working with more established businesses and less established businesses.
Yes.
What do you think are the differences, if any, in the two businesses? So, more established, less transformed, and less established but very, very transformed.
I think the biggest difference is the understanding between being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. And I think most of the time, the less established businesses are owned by business owners, not entrepreneurs. And the understanding is that I'm in this business because I need to survive,
Mm,
you know, and what our efforts need to be about how do we get them to move from being survivalists to being opportunity minded, to being able to see different opportunities in the
mm,
industry. It's very difficult for a survivor to think about the future, to think about innovative ideas that would solve problems that would come up 5 years from now.
yeah.
You know, we want people who are going to be able to give us solutions today for problems that we haven't even thought of having,
Mm,
you know, and that is what is most important. We want our entrepreneurs, not just business owners. So we need to, the biggest challenge is the fact that if you are a business owner, you're only thinking about surviving today, but
yes.
we need to get them to think about surviving, to being about being in business and being entrepreneurial, innovative.
Mm,
5 years from now is one of the solutions that we need.
mm. So empowerment is really, my belief, is really meant to be all the way through.
Mm.
Not just linear, it's made up and down and sideways and sticky and circled in all sorts of ways.
Yes.
Um, and I think using transform suppliers is our attempt at bringing role models closer to the areas that we work in. I mean, we're very
Yes.
intentional about peri-urban, township, and sometimes rural work. Those are the areas that we want to focus on. Um, and using these suppliers, saying, here's someone that comes from your area
Mm.
that is now our supplier, and they're headed to great heights. What do you think we can do better in bringing more of those relatable mentors and SMMEs closer to people that really need to see them to be inspired?
You know, with the number of graduates that we have in all of these programs, I
Mm,
think that's where our focus needs to be.
mm,
So, if you've been in an enterprise and supply development program, if
mm.
you've been in an incubator and you've been assisted, you know, this could be your way of giving back. Become a
Yes.
mentor,
Mm,
mentor another small business that is just like you
mm,
because you have become a role model.
yeah.
Your story of how you came from Soweto
Mm,
and now you are providing for big business.
yeah.
That story encourages and motivates somebody who is saying, I also want to run a business. You
Mm,
know, I also want to be like this person. I want to be like, you know, I'm seeing this person and where they are. I'm reading their story and I want to be like them. How can I be like them? You
yeah.
know, understanding that journey helps somebody to get to that level. So that's why I say if you've been in a program, don't just say you've graduated and goodbye. Come
Yes.
back and give back to those guys,
Yeah.
to the guys that are starting up as well, because your story can be that story that encourages somebody else to be like you.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm also believe that mentorship is not about perfection, right?
Yes.
So I think people have the idea that yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years and now I'm perfect at it. And that's not what it's about. Mentorship is really about experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Good or bad, red and whatever. I've been through it, I've seen it. And this is what I've tried. And I'm coming to the table to tell you I've seen it, I've experienced
Yes.
it, and I think this is what you can try because I tried it and it didn't work,
Mm.
or I tried it and it did work.
So yeah, you're right in saying that. I mean, you can have all of these experience, but still have areas of improvement. You
Yes.
know, I've been in this space for 18 years now,
Mm.
like I said. But in that 18 years, I still feel like there's still a whole lot to learn.
Mm.
There's always something changing, you
Mm.
know. We are living in a world that is changing rapidly. So
Mm.
there's always going to be something more to learn. So
Yeah.
as a mentor, you're not coming to bring perfection. You are coming to bring your experience and saying, learn from my experience, learn
Yes.
from what I had to do.
Mm.
And based on that, you can actually become me. You can become like me, or you can even become better than me
Yes.
because of the times that you find yourself in. I mean, the person who came up with a computer, did they really think that we would come to a point where in 2024 people are now carrying tablets and iPads all around instead of that big box that we
Mm.
had? You
Mm.
understand? Person who came up with a TV, did they think that we would come to a phase where today we stream all shows, we watching things on our tablets, on our cell phones? It was never like that in 1994. But
Mm.
look at where we are now,
Yeah.
where we will be tomorrow. Things are going to improve, and of course, things are going to get better. So, you know, don't look at mentorship in a sense that you have to know it all. You don't have to know it all. Your experience is good enough.
Mm. We're almost at the end. What do you think your parting words could be to corporates or development agencies about really empowering top to bottom? What can we do better? What should we be considering? How should we be developing SMMEs in order to bring that comfort?
So my biggest challenge is that I would say to everyone is, let's give these guys opportunities.
Mm.
They can do the work. They can. They've got the skills. They've got the right mindset.
Mm.
They can do the work. Let's give them the opportunity. If your corporate requirement is that you don't want these entrepreneurs to rely on you holistically for opportunities, give them an opportunity. Let it be that step up the ladder so
Yes.
that they can also continue climbing without you holding on to them.
Mm.
So like a parent raises their kids so that their kids can move out of home
Mm.
and go start their own life.
Mm.
And that is exactly where we're supposed to be coming in, where we're saying we're giving you a hand, and
Mm.
once you've taken that hand, you are able to let go and be sustainable on your own.
Yes, that's very true. Right. Any questions from our audience? Nothing yet. Going once, going twice. Fine. Okay. Any parting words to SMMEs that you want to say in this very difficult SMME journey of entrepreneurship, of falling and starting over and falling and rejection? What would you like to say just to encourage them?
So, what I can say is that if you don't fall, it means you're not trying.
Mm.
In actual fact, the person who is falling is a person that is trying.
Mm.
If you look at a child when they're starting to walk, they fall a number of times,
Mm.
right?
Because they're trying. Yeah.
Because they are
Yeah.
trying. Not falling means that you haven't tried.
Yes.
Um, you, I mean, a lot of the innovations that we see today, the people who came up with those ideas failed a couple of times. They
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
just get it right immediately. They failed a couple of times. So don't be scared to try. Don't be scared to take that first step. That first step is what is going to take you forward. That first step is what's going to lead to your success. You need to fall a couple of times
Mm.
because you learn from your mistakes.
Mm.
And we all learn, we've all made mistakes in life. And in those mistakes, there's always a lesson that we learn, and we try and try again up until we get to that perfection that we're aiming for.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to impacting more businesses at Zevoli.
Yes, 100%. I mean, that's what we do on a daily basis. So join us on our next episode of the Zevoli Round Corner. And remember, what keeps us at night is bridging the relationship between SMEs and corporates and making supplier diversity business as usual. Until next time.